Assalamu alaikum and peace and blessing be upon all of you. I am here at the Islamic Society at Tampa Bay, actually, and a big part of the masjid right now, and we just finished doing the Dhuhr prayer, and I am here with one of our convert brothers. I'm going to go and talk to him a little bit. He's going to tell you how long it's been that he has converted to Islam, actually, under Sheikh Arjan. Can you tell me a little bit about you, first of all, your name and how long you've been a Muslim?
Sure. Well, I became a convert about a month ago. My name is James, by the way. I forgot about that. So I was reading about Islam before a month ago, just because the Western media perceives Islam as like a threat, and so I wanted to get that out of the way so I can educate myself and understand where we come from here and the culture that this brings. And so I was reading into it, and then after the Israel-Palestine conflict, I was like, okay, this is, now that I've researched into it, I know what's going on. I know that they're stealing land, and I know that a lot of brutal things are happening to the Palestinians over there. So this has made my decision to come here and say my shahada. And I was once a Catholic, and my family, they told me that they were not allowed to question the Bible, and they were being slapped for that. So it didn't make sense to me, and I always knew there was a God of some sort before all this. And I'm 22 years old now, and I'm kind of just accepted that. The fact is that how is it that we are here, and philosophy has told me a lot about that. And I took philosophy in high school, and really changed my mind once I started reading and becoming here and coming here. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, James. Most of the convert stories that I do, I don't get the kind of answer that you just give me. Most of them, obviously, they want to know about Islam and so on and so forth. But with you went a little bit more deeper, and you brought up the Israeli and Palestinian situation, which, because I was born in Afghanistan, I just want to let you know that I take that situation in heart because of my own land, what has been going on in our own land. So it's really heartwarming to me for you to go to that step, to religiously trying to investigate it and not listening to people like Fox TVs and so on and so forth who sugarcoat just about everything and anything that you can imagine to make us look bad.
Well, I will say this, that I was once an Israeli supporter, where
they're losing a lot of supporters because of that.
And I have, the thought is that Jerusalem is a Hebrew name. It derives from Hebrew, yes, but to take it in such a shameful force, and my parents always taught me to be the better person, to be the bigger person, to not do not to be greedy and steal and all that. You don't have to follow religion to know that. It's just common sense. Why would you want someone to steal from you? If you don't want it to be done to you, don't do it yourself.
So, two things actually. I'm kind of thinking about this story that you told me. That one was one part of it, the Israeli situation. And the second part of it is that when I do these convert stories, it's amazing to me that how young the converts are. I mean, you said you're only 22 years old, right? I mean, to in that young age to think that deep, and truly look within your soul and trying to figure out what is going on here, what's going on with all this killing, why we hate each other so much, and actually taking it up onto yourself to dig deep, and then ultimately bringing you in here and in front of Sheikh Arjan and converting to Islam.
I think it's a lot of brainwashing when it comes to the media as well, because they perceive the Taliban, the ISIS, they perceive
They
that
created it all.
yeah, they
The one who
I
created
mean, that's what
it.
happens when you create war in a different country. Another regime is going to take hold, and it's going to be a corrupt regime. Like I can't stress enough that it's not how it's not how you should listen to it. It's how you should perceive it, I guess, in some sort of way. So that way was for me was okay. I was this Israel supporter, and after finally having enough and seeing the brutal ways of their life, and it just kind of brought my attention to stop listening to Fox News, CNN, stuff like that. And I'm not here as a Democrat or a Republican. I'm here as
A human being.
to unite us all, because the religion wars have been going on for the past million years. Like there's no reason for it anymore. It's 2021. We should all accept each other for who we follow and are,
And not to try to steal someone's land.
yeah. I mean, if the United States was pretty adamant about stealing land, we could. But I don't think we should, and I think a lot of people would be against it. So that's why I think Israel should stop doing that. And it really affects me because I don't go on TikTok a lot. I don't like the social media apps, but there's a lot of videos going around of Palestinians being arrested and smiling through it and understanding that this is just in the moment and this is the way of becoming something great and fighting for what they feel is right.
Don't ever forget, people. Assalamu alaikum. I'll send you some more, Sheikh. It's really heartwarming to me to truly see a youngster talking in that level. There was one time, I'm not gonna lie, that I almost gave up. I'm like, man, things not gonna change because I'm involved in social media, unlike him, and throughout all these years that people like myself and so many other people has put so much time into it, our heart and our soul, try to show that not only the beauty of our religion and all the hypocrisy and the craziness that he was just talking about that is going on to teach and educate people, especially coming from Afghanistan, which my own land was the first by the Russians, now by United States. Over 2 million people has been slaughtered, and $2 trillion of taxpayers' money has been spent while they're the one who created the Mujahideen, and then that turned into Taliban and Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and every single few months or a year they just put another name on top of it while they're the creator of all of it. But it was fascinating to me that I do now, after almost 15, 16 years of being involved in social media and telling the truth, that I see that things are changing, and youngsters like him, who's only 22 years old, they're questioning everything, not only from the contradiction on the pages of the Bible, all the way to this craziness that is going on, that why someone from Europe or from the United States have the right to go on somebody else's land and just literally throw the people that who's been living there for 5,000 years, take their land, and literally destroy their houses. And on top of that, if they don't destroy their own houses, and if the Israeli people destroy, now they have to come up with tens of thousands of dollars because the Israeli IDF has gone and destroyed their houses literally, and they don't not only have anything, but at the same time they gotta pay for these people to go and destroy their own lives, which it just doesn't make their own houses, which it doesn't make no sense whatsoever. So
it's not just the Israel-Palestine conflict that's really changed. It's who took in all these Jews when
Hitler was trying to, who took him?
Yes.
Who not only who
defended
the Muslim was defending them, not only in there, in France also. There are stories that in France, literally, when they were coming after them, and it was the Muslims that were not allowing them to be prosecuted. And And here you are, these people took them, they were nice to them, they gave them everything that they needed so that way they had their bigger plans so they can take a little land and then bring their Air Force, which the United States government, together with the Congress, has just literally built and established a little spot for them. They got it bigger and bigger. Now ultimately then you just telling the people of their own land to get out of, because somehow they're the chosen people and everybody else is nobody, and it's a hypocrisy. And then they turn around telling the Muslims that we are extremists. Are you kidding me? Look at the level
There's
they're
extremism on every side, though. It's Christianity, like Jewish, like Islam. Yeah. We're not going to deny that. And it's hard that this one group takes so much
from so many.
Yeah. And it's just not right. Like, I don't know. It's one group that does bad things, and you look at it and say, well, then they all must be like that. I know my parents, my school, they said, don't judge a book by its cover. And well, as I can see here, he's not trying to kill me. And
if anything, we're trying to bring the bridges to build bridges and put each other together on a daily basis.
I've had so much support here. It's like I see people.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
I have so much support here that it's almost a question of my parents' ways of life, because just where the religion is Catholic, it's just not the same. I mean, yeah, you have the nice deeds that they do and whatnot, but here, when I took my shahada, I went out. I asked a sister about where do I go and take my shahada, and she pointed me in the direction. She
call it Sheikh Arjun.
Yeah, she brought me up there and says, when you're done taking your shahada, come back to me. And so I did. I said, I wanted to let you know I took my shahada. And she's like, here's some Islamic clothing. And I was like, oh.
Well, Sister Karima?
Yes.
Sister Karima, black lady? Or Arab?
Arab.
Okay, I see. Okay, what's yeah, I get it.
But she gave me the clothing.
Right.
Yes. And so I was like,
Holy
okay.
Quran.
Yeah. Thank you. I was like, all right, so how much is it going to be? And she's like, no, it's for free.
If you could talk a little bit louder, I want to make sure that...
I said, how much is it going to be? And she said,
no charge.
No charge. So I was like, oh, okay. And then another brother came out and talked to me and with his family, and he said that this food truck over here is really good. And I was like, what do they have? And what did he say? He said they have really good
biryani.
chicken.
Biryani, yeah, biryani.
And so I was thinking, oh, that sounds really good. And then after I received all the clothing from the sister, he went over and bought me some food without my knowledge, and I said, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. And then it's amazing how giving and nice these people are. Like it's sad what's represented. It really is.
Do you tell your parents about these things when you see?
I haven't told them yet.
You haven't told them that you're converted?
No.
Really?
No, I'm
really
nervous. I'm kind of scared because they're gonna be like, well, these people kill people, like, because they follow the Western media and all media, and so it's kind of frightening. But I think eventually when I perform and learn more about Islam, then I think I'll be ready to tell. But I'm just a little nervous.
Let me ask you, I hear that all the time from a lot of them. You know, some of them even in a way they lose their parents, but then I've seen in a lot of cases that they all has converted. You know what I'm saying? So and that's a part of it, and it's just the simple.
I do pray that my family does find
the truth,
Islam,
right?
yeah.
I'm sure.
And they question the Bible again and not get beat for it.
Well, one of those things you have to understand is how you conduct yourself. You follow what I'm saying? So once when they see that, then that's going to make them realize, wait a minute, this is not the same guy, you know? And so when the time is right, and obviously when you do talk to them about it, do you know how you're going to approach it? Or obviously you said you want to get your own knowledge up there to make sure that if they have questions.
I have no idea. I haven't really thought about it that way. I've contemplated a lot about it. Was it even the right decision, even in the beginning? Just because of family relations. Like I don't want to ruin my family relations, but I also pray that they find Islam, because it makes more sense. I started reading the Quran about the beginning of this year.
No contradiction.
No contradiction at that
A lot
time.
of science and math and everything.
Yeah, that was before the Israel-Palestine conflict. So, the current one. I've seen the other conflicts, but haven't heard anything since like 2016, 2017 or something like that. But so I have a friend in France who is Muslim, and I asked him a couple questions, and he's been to Saudi Arabia, he's been to Mecca, he's been to Dubai. I said,
is he a convert, you said, or
no?
Okay.
No, he's born Muslim.
Muslim.
Yeah. And so I was questioning him, and he's been to all these places, and he says, if it's one thing that he's learned is that Islam is very peaceful, because very peaceful, not only in the sense of just following God, it's being a nice person, it's being a giving person. It was definitely life-changing, I guess him and Omar Suleiman, I watched on YouTube, who kind of pushed the button.
There's another sheikh that I don't know if you have been listening to him or watching it. He's my favorite now out of all of them. Out of Omar, out of Zakir Naik, out of all of them. And his name is Sheikh Uthman Farooq.
I think I've seen him.
Yeah. I'm going to send you his links. He literally, most of the other sheikhs that you say, in a way, some of them have studied to a certain degree, and some of them did a lot of research, obviously, on Google and so on and so forth. But Sheikh Sulaiman is a hard, just like Sheikh Said, he has actually studied. There's thousands of books that he has written, not only Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. I'm going to send you some of his link. I think you're really going to like him. And later on down the road, if that situation happened with your family, what I would do is I would just send him this, because the way he explains and talk about it, because he's talking with the Christians and Jews, and these questions that you can just stick and say, what do you think about this?
I did follow Omar with the debate between the Jew and the Christian pastor. I don't know the Jewish, sorry.
You heard of David Wood?
David Wood? No.
Okay, so David Wood and these two other guys, they were the biggest Muslim haters online for almost 15, 16 years. And everything and anything that you can imagine, they were instigating and saying, from the Prophet, peace be upon him, to the religion and so on and so forth. So they have done that for a very long time. And most of the sheikhs that he was talking to, debating, them sheikhs themselves, they were not knowledgeable enough about the religion. So all three of these guys came to him and tried to corner him. They planned this for almost a month and a half. And in a matter of half an hour, he completely destroyed all three of them and ruined their career. Why? Because people like David Wood, they are educated through Google. They're a Google PhD.
They want to know what they can provide hate with.
Exactly. While these guys actually studied. And the depth of Islam. There is no If you go deep in it, the Christianity and Judaism doesn't have that kind of a weight.
That's another question I had, was like, why does the Bible have so many
Contradictions. From page to page to page to page.
Exactly. And then I was just in a class with
Sheikh Said.
and he said one of these books was created by a different author in Greece 70 years later.
After the death of Jesus, peace be upon him. But the number that I know is actually 100. So Sheikh, maybe, it's 100 plus years.
And so...
What happened with the data from that?
That's the thing. They never learned. The translation never came through, and there's some.
It was in Aramaic, and then what they have is in Greek.
Yeah.
Well, what has the Greeks got to do with Aramaic language, man?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I don't know a lot of Arabic. I certainly don't know.
You're learning.
1%.
You are there in the class.
But I.
It's a beauty.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. You can't.
If you just listen to an imam just recite
makes you cry.
Yeah, it does. Like, it's very moving. It's definitely something different that I never thought I would actually come to. Like, I never thought I'd be a Muslim.
Here's the deal, James. When you see the truth, your heart will know it immediately.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? You don't have to push yourself. Because immediately you know that this is the way it is. And that's why there's so many of them are converting into Islam. Because as soon as they see it or listening to the meaning of the Quran or the recitation, the soul itself cannot help but to cry. It's very simple. While when you're reading the New and Old Testament, pages are contradicting themselves and people are asking a question to themselves that how could be this the word of God if every other page is a contradiction and there's lies in there. The ages are different of the same people. The way that things happen on one page it tells you one way, and on another page completely tell you the story completely different. So how would somebody
or verses missing?
Verses are missing, or one Bible have certain amount of verses while that, and then having so many different Bibles that every single one of them tells a different story. How could that be the word of the Creator? And that's why they're losing so many of them, and they're coming toward Islam because there's only one Quran. Even that, if you have the Shia and Sunni and all this other Salafi, but the Quran is one. There nobody can, and the meaning is one. Yeah. And that's when, as soon as they see that, they can see that. So let me ask you another question. When you were investigating Islam throughout all that time, were you kind of doing it quietly so your parents wouldn't know about it, or how was that?
Well, I'm originally from New Jersey, so I moved down here by myself to Florida. So I've kind of...
The best move, by the way, because
yeah.
I'm from DC. I moved there 21 years ago.
Yeah, so I definitely have the option to keep it on the down low for it as a moment. But I don't know. I lived in France for a year. I've seen a lot of Arabs. That was surprising to me. I didn't think France was filled with Arabs, which not a bad thing. I met a couple.
But that's all because of colonization.
Yeah,
don't forget that.
Yeah.
They were forced to be there.
Yeah.
Their land was taken from them.
Which, I guess anything the British have to touch that, it's
and the French. They both are from this part of the same pot.
Yeah. But it was just my experience there that was back in 2018 to 2019. So after meeting my French friend who's Muslim, it was really nice to
The sad part of it, James, is that the way for so many years they have been kind of drawing us, and making all these lies. But so people are just simply confused. But when they actually really meet a Muslim, Muslim and they talk to them, they're like, this is way far than what we have been told. These people are actually nice.
Yeah, it's because they believe that everyone that comes from the Middle East, Afghanistan, Pakistan, well, Pakistan's not
Exactly. Iraq, Syria, Libya.
They all think of one color and one color only.
And they all want to go to heaven and killing half 12. Come on, man. We want to live just as much as you guys do.
Yeah. And life is beautiful. There's a lot of things that I have to want to see on this planet. And afterwards, who knows? Maybe, hopefully I get into Jannah.
But, if you really see who's doing all the killing just in the past 20 years, think about it. 12.5 million Muslims has been slaughtered. 37 million has been displaced.
Yeah.
So, who's invading Afghanistan? They're not. I don't see them here. Or all these other countries who are doing these things.
Yeah, and I hope that, like, yes, I'm American, white. I don't want you to think that I'm brainwashed or.
Sure.
No, this is coming from my free will. Like I said, I never thought I was going to be Muslim at all. And then I even was an Israel supporter. It's all about educating and coming to peace with who you can be and who you want to associate with.
Yes, assalamu alaikum, brother.
Who you just look in life.
Yes.
Who's modest, who is, giving, who's loving, who's caring, who has, I don't know the statistics, but I mean, coming from a Catholic family, my parents are divorced. I'm not sure what the statistics are between Catholic and Islam divorce rate.
And Islam is not that much, exactly. I promise you.
But I'm pretty sure that number is significantly lower than, and it's a matter of connecting, and it's just connecting with who Allah created you to be, I guess.
I just want to give you one other piece of information today. Maybe you'll learn something, okay? First of all, the Aryan race, the white race that you're talking about, is the Afghan race. The capital of Aryan was Afghanistan, 3000 BC. So if you're talking about the Euro race, the European, the white race is directly the race of Afghans, India, and Iran. Okay, so later on I will send you a book because that is my ancestors. I know, Afghanistan is one of the oldest country on planet Earth. It's older than ancient Egypt. 50,000 BC, people were living in Afghanistan. And also the, what do you call it? Agriculture or farming started from there, So I will send you all that stuff because the sad part of it is that what people don't understand with all this hatred and so on and so forth, they don't even know where the core of where they came from.
And I hope you have sisters talking about this because Islam does not force the hijab.
Anybody, we do. I do try. I do.
Okay. And so I want to point that out as well. We don't force. We have our, what's it called? Our modesty with it.
Right. Yeah.
But it's between
you and Allah.
Yeah, you and Allah. And then that's
even the religion itself. You are not forced to push Islam on anybody.
Yeah.
You give them the data, the information, and you walk away. Yeah. You've done your part of it. Even in the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, they were because he was always so upset that he was trying so hard and people wouldn't get it, and he, while he was doing his part in the beautiful way. So ultimately, when you give that data, and the beauty of it itself will speak for itself.
My friend never pushed anything. I mean, he's 8,000, or not 8,000. He's 8 hours away by plane across an ocean. And I just asked him questions, he answered, and that's it. He didn't say, well, you should follow Islam because of this, and this, and how great we are. And he never expressed how better or never compared Islam to Christianity or Judaism, and the other 4,197 religions.
Or there are prophets. Those guys are our, and they came from our land.
Yeah. But that's
By the way, to just give you a little bit another, 46th grandfather, my mom's dad, I go directly to the Prophet, peace be upon him. I'll send you the paperwork, all of it, so you know who was my grandfather, my great-grandfather, all the way to the Prophet, peace be upon him, my mom's dad. But my mom's mom, I go, 67 grandfather go directly to King Saul, peace be upon him. So you know who King Saul is. Yeah, well, King Saul was the first king of Judea.
Okay.
He was the first king, before King David, and then before Solomon, King David's son. Saul was the first one.
Okay.
So from my grandma, obviously she's a Muslim because in the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, a lot of Jews converted to Islam, but that's what my, goes to that. That doesn't make me better than anybody. You still have to, pay your dues. You still have to do your prayers. You still have to, give zakat and do the things that you're supposed to be doing as a 5 pillar of Islam. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one brother and one sister.
Do they know or no?
No. I kind of hinted it to my sister because she was down here in Florida a couple weeks ago.
Older or younger?
Younger. And I was like, well, after living in France, I'm kind of interested in experiencing some different part of the world, like Saudi Arabia or Dubai. She's like, the basic Western answer. Well, they're
good luck. They all are terrorists, man. Why you want to go there?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't want to say exactly what she said, but yeah.
I'm sure. Bro, I really, this is one of my best conversations, or I should say, doing a convert story. You're very intelligent in such a young age, and taking it up onto yourself to find the truth, not only religiously but also politically, and well, it's all related in a way, also, and also knowing the truth and not trying to cause wave between your family and yourself, and educating yourself, so that way when that time comes one day, it's gonna, you're gonna have to talk to them, that you are educated enough to be able to go deeper and make them realize.
Well, I have a question for you then.
Sure.
You never had to come out and say that, hey, Mom, Dad, I'm a Muslim. Have you? I mean, you were born.
Well, I'm Afghani, Afghanistan, so I was born a Muslim. As I told you, I go all the way to the Prophet himself. We were Muslims.
Yeah, so I guess you don't have the answer, but I'll ask you.
No. Go ahead. I can give you maybe opinion.
Yeah.
How would you approach it?
How would I kind of approach this situation? Because my mom smokes, she drinks, I've had tattoos, a couple, not a lot. Not like one of those tattooed arms, but she's got us on her back.
Sure.
So she's very accustomed to the American lifestyle, I guess.
I was so to just let you know, I grew up with heavy metal, hard rock. I did everything and anything that you can imagine. I've been living in the United States 41 years, so I came here in '79. I grew up in '70s and '80s, so I'm kind of, I know what you're saying, that with that type of a lifestyle. But keep going. How would you approach someone like that?
Yeah, how would I approach my mother like that? I don't want to try to convert her or anything like that. I want it to be her decision because alcohol, cigarettes, that's all haram, that's all also bad for you.
Exactly.
So and I see how depressed she is living up in New Jersey with
She lives alone?
Well, she lives with my sister, but my brother is also like 5 minutes away. So
Is he kind of hardcore anti-Islam also, or he just doesn't know?
he doesn't follow religion really. And neither does my sister. She's very they're very well, if I die, I die. That's it.
Well, they don't. That's all education. They just don't know better, man.
It's so that's another thing I wanted to say is if you die, okay. But I would be.
There's a purpose we're here, man. You know what's gonna happen to that once we.
You can accept Islam, Christianity, Judaism, the other 4,200 religions that have been put into this world. But atheism just doesn't make sense to me because
somebody made this.
Yes. Yeah. Why not just give the bare minimum, I guess.
A chance.
Yeah. Why not take that chance?
Exactly. Because see, the thing is in the Quran is because Allah will never gonna walk toward you.
Yeah.
You know, you have to walk toward Him. If you're that disrespectful toward the Creator who created the universe and explains in depth and detail in the Quran Kareem, even the neutron inside of atom is explained inside of the Quran.
Yeah.
And when you see data like that and you still simply question it, or because you went and got a little PhD in your hand and now you simply think you got your doctorate degree and you figure something else out that somebody else hasn't, and if you're that much of a hypocrite that you simply think that you know that much comparing to the one who created the universe, whichever way that he found out himself to do this, you follow what I'm saying? That's none of my business. When I think about God, all I think about it, I'm like,
I guess I would like to aspire to be someone like God because of how
incredibly what He has done.
What He has done. What more what is Jannah?
And not being greedy, and don't ever forget not being greedy to keep it all for himself. I was thinking about that last night. It's kind of interesting that you brought, because all I'm thinking about, if God was greedy, He could have said, man, I'm keeping it all for myself. But not only He's not greedy, He is allegedly showing His beauty, and He's trying to share it with us.
So I guess for their perspective, how would you know that Allah is not being greedy about that right now? Like, He might have not been greedy back then, but how do you know now?
Because His Quran is in black and white. He explains it all in there. Listen, Allah will not change His mind. Even before the universe was created, we know, and He has said it, that the Quran was already written, it was there, before the creation of the universe. So everything that is happening, He already knew it. That's the way it was going to happen. It's going to go down. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. So the Quran speaks for itself, because the Quran is not from 1400 years ago until now. The Quran was from the beginning of the time until the end of the time. It's very simple. And when you go in depth and detail, I don't care about what you want to talk about. All the data is in there. You follow what I'm saying? People just have to take it up on themselves to go and, because the Quran is so huge, and it says that even if you study, it says that if you turn all the oceans into ink, and if you use that ink, try to explain the meaning of the Quran, they don't have enough ink or water in the ocean for you to be able to use it. So that's how broad it is. There are so many people around the world that have been studying Quran, like Sheikh Saeed, so on and so forth. But if you even talk to them right now, as far as the meaning goes, and as far as tafsir goes, they still only know that much because it's so huge and it's so broad. Arabic is such an incredible language. The words have so many incredible meaning. So for me to answer your question, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already knew what, after Iblis or Satan, disrespected him. The whole entire process was put together for one reason only, that's test. To see how much we actually believe in the Creator without actually seeing Him. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because if you see him or if he sends his angels, then it's over. You know what I'm saying? So if you even start reading the first pages of the Quran, the first few things that he has said is first you have to believe in the unseen. You follow what I'm saying? And you have to believe in it. But in time, that's why so many people, their belief is weak. Or it's not there. That's why it's so hard and difficult for them to stay away from, from nightclubbing, strip bars, and women, and all the stuff, the garbage that is alcohol and all that becomes a part of ignorance and craziness. Because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, our Creator had to send us a guideline, or let's say this phone that I have, or anything else for that matter that are being made. It has a manual. Quran is human's manual is very simple, man. And if you read it, there is no author in the Quran, because we know the author is Allah, the God Himself. And in a book that is 640 pages or whatever, not one mistake. And everything scientifically makes sense. And even at that time, they didn't have the technology to measure it. And they had to wait until the 21st century to be able to find the technology to be able to measure what the Quran al-Karim has said is the truth. So, and now people are trying to question that with their little PhD, or simply that they want to study something that they know better than the Quran. While the Creator has challenged us that if you don't think this is my work, why don't you write a surah of it? Or just a chapter, or just a few pages. Nobody can do it, even with their technology, with their high-tech computers. So that by itself, it speaks the weight of the Quran Kareem itself, that has came before the universe was even created, and is going to stay there, and Allah's not going to change His mind. That's the answer to that question goes. But you know what, as far as your parents goes, the other question that you ask, my opinion to you is very simple. You keep going on the path that you are going. As a 22-year-old young man that I'm proud of you, bro. Because most kids, they don't talk about it, unless if I do a convert story like this, and a lot of them think like you. And it's just mind-boggling to me, because 20 years ago, or 40 years ago, when I moved in America, or 20 years ago when I moved in Tampa, first of all, I would have never ever thought that I would see a masjid like this in the middle of Hillbilly Town. Seriously, I don't mean that in a bad way, And second of all, so many people in Tampa, Florida's converting into Islam. It just doesn't compute to me. But they have a plan, and I have a plan, and I am the best planner of all. And the Quran Kareem says it. So every time when I see that, those are the verses that comes in mind. To answer to the question of your parents goes, how would you approach it, is very simple. You keep going the way you are going. The most important thing is education. It's the key. Make sure that you go in those classes. Make sure you learn everything. Because one day when the time is there, okay, even if your mom listens to you or not, but if you tell that story in a way that it just makes sense, and it doesn't matter how you break it down, there's no flaws in it, it makes people think, man. If they don't make, that means if they don't think, that means they don't have a soul, or there's something wrong there. Continue doing what you're doing. Educate yourself. Do your prayers, and be humble the way you are. In time, they're going to try to figure out what's going on here, man. This makes more sense than this and this and all that. Because I had to drink too. I have tattoos too. I have all that stuff. I did it all. My background's in fitness. I was the top trainer national for 3 of the largest fitness organizations in the United States. Rock Dwayne Johnson was a trainer, and at the same gym that I was a few years prior to that. Dave Bautista trained there, all those guys. So to me, I've been there, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't really mean anything to me. What means is when I go and see the darkness of the grave, that's when it all starts. And based on what I'm doing right now, how I'm conducting myself, that's what matters to me. The rest of it, as far as worldly life goes, what is it in here? Like the Prophet, peace be upon him, they were trying to build him a bed, because he was sleeping on haze and stuff like that. Every time he would get up, Abu Bakr told him, he said, Umar told him, he said, look, you have like little, cuts and stuff all over you. Why don't you just allow us to build your bed? But he did not want it to be comfortable because he could care less about worldly life. And he wanted to stay like that, to see the uncomfortability, because he wanted us comfortable in Jannah. You know what I'm saying? We want to hold on into this so bad. We don't want to die. We just want, if there's a car, money, beautiful woman, everything else, we want to hold on to this. But the reality of it is, I don't care how much you're going to hold on to it, ultimately, neither your wife's going to be yours, or your daughter's going to be yours, or your car's going to be yours. It's all going to be somebody else's either, or you're not going to have any of them, because you will die. So when you don't think about those things, and you simply think that you're living in this beautiful earth that the Creator created and forever, first of all, it doesn't work like that. And second of all, even doing the right things and so on and so forth, because of the atheists, like you're talking about, if they don't believe in a creator, which really, it's kind of mind-boggling to me that who wants to live for 40, 50, 67 years and that's the end of it? There's nothing after that. That just doesn't make no sense. The humans and this intelligence, that the way we're talking, from the universe to this and that, but simply we're gonna die and that's the end of it. I don't want that. I wish I would have never been born if that's the case, and it's not it, man. We are too intelligent and too smart for all. There is a soul in there. When you die, that has to go somewhere, man. It can't just all of it die. That's the end of it. And that's the hypocrisy that those so-called PhD guys that we were talking about, that who believes in, what's his name? God, I forgot. Darwin. Hypocrisy, Terry. While 1,000 years before Darwin, the Muslims were talking about evolution. Did I send you that? I'm going to send you that link, and more detail than Darwin did.
Just another thing to spread hate.
It's a hypocrisy, bro. It's if you really look at it, the Europeans and the Americans are simply always claiming that they're the one who created it, they're the one who made everything. But the reality of it is that Europe was in darkness, man. The shining of Europe was where? Spain, under Moor's control. If you're looking at technology, building, structure, science, math, none of it has came from Europe. They copycat it, and then they turned it around. Just like, the Japanese, they took American cars and they kind of redid something, and then they said they're the one who claimed it.
Yeah, and then, what is it, the first 4 universities were Muslim?
The first original one was made by a woman. Yeah. A woman. So think about it. And then they're trying to say that, they disrespect women. Are you kidding me? Prophet Muhammad's wife was a businesswoman. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and that's another thing that I think it's culture versus Islam, and there are cultures out there that do.
Absolutely.
Which that's what they see, and it's sad that.
Do you want to say anything else to people that are simply thinking about, becoming a Muslim, as far as, the Islamophobes and Fox TVs and all the other hypocrisy that and ultimately until somebody like yourself or so many other people that I talk to, they take it up on themselves and they simply say, man, these people are crazy. This is not the way it is. These are actually good people, man. They have been nice to us and kind to us.
I guess I could say, or I should say, that even though I haven't done it myself, we're all a brotherhood, a sisterhood. Take it upon yourself to just do what you do. Don't follow who that person does or that person does over there. It's who you want to be.
Use your brain.
Use your brain, basically. And I've always been what's the word for it?
Make decisions for yourself instead of somebody trying to push their ways on you.
Kind of. I've always been self-conscious about things like that. So this is a big thing, a huge thing. And I think
The most
that-
important thing.
yeah. I think when you show up to a mosque, you're invited. That's how my first day went. I never made contact with anyone here. I just showed up one day, and it happened to be Friday noon prayer. So everyone was here. A lot of people were here. So like I said, I talked to the sister who brought me to the imam, Arjan. And from there, I met about 20 to 30 people on that day. So it was kind of shocking.
Did you came on a Friday?
Yeah.
So did you convert it down here?
No.
So you went back there?
Yeah, I went.
Yeah. Who recorded that? Do you know? Because I have all the convert recording. I don't know. Do you know? Did somebody record it? Do you know that?
Yeah. I forget his name. I met so many people.
Was Abu Sa- when they recorded? Was Abu Sad down there, or who was down there when they were recording? When you were given the shahada?
Yeah, I don't know.
No. I'm talking as far as the sheikhs goes. It was Abu Sad, right? He's the one who give you your.
I don't know names.
No, Abu Sad was down here a few minutes ago. The Sheikh Abu Sad, but he was here. He said he's the one who gave me my shahada.
Oh, Arjan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's got the actual.
Sorry.
So his name is Sheikh Arjan or Abu Sad. They're the same person.
Okay.
Sheikh Arjan.
Yeah, so he gave me the shahada, and then there was someone in there that filmed it. I don't know.
I'll find out.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know. So I'll reach out to them and find out.
But I lost track where it was. I guess.
You know, you're talking about humanity. You know, we should use our brain. We should think for ourselves. Don't allow people to go and put goofy stuff in our heads.
Yeah, I guess it was all goofy looking to me at first. It was like, okay, why are we doing this? Or why is this that way? I had a lot of questions at the beginning, and between the 20 or 30 people I met, 5 of them actually came up to me and talked to me about why I decided to join Islam. On that same day, I took my shahada. So it was very new. It was very intriguing to hear them say, well, we're a brotherhood, we have your back.
You've never seen that kind of a warmness anywhere else, right?
I've been to a church, not the same. I've never been to
a synagogue.
A synagogue, yeah. It goes right out. I'd never been there. I did have questions for what are they called, the pastors or
in here in synagogue. Rabbi.
Yeah. I had questions for a rabbi. And
they couldn't answer.
Well, I didn't go for it. I went with Islam first because after watching Omar Suleiman explain to the rabbi and pastor, it just kind of, all right, well, I'll go speak with an imam at.
But were you thinking about actually joining the Judaism? Was that the way? Was that you were trying to figure out?
I never read the Bible, so I never understood where all these
New
stories,
Testament, Old Testament
came from. And then after reading the Quran, it was kind of like, okay, that makes more sense than why would the Messiah, as the Jews would say, the Messiah is coming. Why would he come now or in the future? it just doesn't make sense.
The
to me.
whole 3 in 1 doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Exactly.
Or God will kill the son. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
To say, why would somebody kill themselves for your sin? If you did something, if you look at the law of America, think about it. You do something, you're responsible for your action. They cannot take your mother, your sister, and your whole entire clan and your family and simply say everybody's gonna die because you did something. It doesn't make any sense in any way, shape, or form. And then they're trying to say that this is justice. How could that be justice? And they're trying to say that Islam doesn't have. Are you kidding me? You can't do that in Islam. You're responsible for your own action.
Exactly, and I don't see a reason why someone else should pay for your. So I guess that's what I should say. There's no one else should pay for your mistakes.
Your children, your animals,
Exactly.
everything should be killed.
No.
Think about it.
It's life is supposed to be us learning and us exploring and being. What's the word for it? It's a
Get along with each other.
exactly like stuff like that. Unite.
Learn
Becoming
from each
one.
other.
Becoming one, learn from each other, and I just don't see that happening anymore. And that's how you said you almost gave up faith. Well, I kind of gave up on humanity, almost. It's just we have so much hate now. It's just ever since 2012, I guess, when the Mayans predicted that the Earth was gonna implode or explode. In some ways, I think their belief was almost correct. The Antichrist came, and he's living within us, and he's causing chaos, and it's just.
And we know who some of those people are. We see it
exactly.
firsthand, you know. And you can simply fly from Florida or from some part of the world and go and squat in somebody else's land and on top of them, force them to go and destroy their own houses with their own hand. Or are you going to charge them a lot of money? There's a big problem there.
And I guess I should say as well as
That's faith in humans, you know.
Yeah, us younger generations, I think want what religion was founded, or what Allah sent for us to be united, caring, and loving,
exactly,
and like giving.
Exactly.
I don't see that with a lot of the older generation.
Allah says in the Quran that I made you different tribes so you can get to know each other. Can you imagine, man, if everything was hamburger and cheeseburger, and then you couldn't go and eat Afghan food or Indian food?
Exactly.
It would be boring, man.
Exactly, and
or all the women are in one color here, or the men the same color, and they don't have any difference or any.
It's good to have differences because we learn from those and become like. I've always been American. I've been American culture, like American cheeseburger, hamburger. That's it. That was my diet, basically, the American. And then I go to France, which is it's a little different. It's French food. It's Mediterranean food, which is really good.
They walk a lot. It's organic.
Yes,
They don't spray and inject their food.
Exactly. But now my goal is to go to Mecca and so.
Buddy, I was there just a few years ago. With me, Sheikh Said were we were roommates, so it was truly the best time of my life. It really was.
I really want to go. That was all the pictures and the videos I see from there. It's definitely a golden age, consistent golden age, I should say. It's very. It's a shame what this world has came.
But you know what, James? It's great to see people like yourself, as I was saying, at such a young age, thinking about these things. And as I was saying, most of the convert stories that I do, they're youngsters, you know, and who would have ever thought that, you know, after September 11th, the hypocrisy and the craziness, that it was kind of created by us, to bring this kind of a hypocrisy around the world and get all of us against each other so the billionaires and gazillionaires can make more money out of so many people's misery, because to them there's only one thing matter, and that's the money. They could care less about humanity or helping humans or religion, and then their God is money and Iblis, Satan, that has brought them down to such a low level that money is not everything when humanity is.
Exactly. And I'm not going to say like, oh, I've experienced the joys of Allah when I first converted. No, it's definitely, you have to
Earn it.
earn it. Exactly. You have to.
It's a struggle, bro, and
It's a struggle,
and it always will be.
And it has been for me. Like I used to go to the gym every 3 times a week, at least. And now I have been on a path of, just struggling and figuring out, okay, what am I, and what am I to achieve from this? What am I supposed to learn from this? And not only is it a struggle in personal life, but it is a struggle trying to be the better Muslim when I have to work, and the work isn't always providing of Muslim.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So and I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I'm a perfect Muslim. I pray 5 times a day.
None of us are.
Yeah,
There's no sign. Allah tells you, if you were perfect, I would have get rid of you, brought more people, so they could have, done some
Exactly,
little bit of sin.
I know. I try with all my power to pray in the morning, but
Once in a while, it just doesn't happen.
actually,
It never happens.
it's probably once a week I get to pray in the morning.
In time you will, but I promise you, because when I was first when I got into it hard, I was the same way. But in time, when your iman, when your belief gets stronger automatically. I don't use any clocks at that time, even because I go to sleep late at night. I post a lot. That's all I do a lot. Most of the night. So even when I go to sleep like 4 or 5 o'clock, and 1 hour later, automatically so it will happen in time. But don't worry about it. The most important thing is that you're aware of it. Whenever you're not aware of it, that's when you need to worry.
Okay.
Even if you make a sin or get involved in that, if you're not aware of it and something, that's when you. But if you're aware of it and you're concerned about it, that means your soul is either way, it's on fire, it's burning. One's telling you that, hey, and that's what Allah wants.
Yeah, I just want to find happiness, and that's I hear so many stories about finally achieving the happiness, and that's one thing I just want. I don't ask for much. I don't ask for $1 billion.
And it's not money. I promise you. It's not. I swear. It's not.
No. I don't ask for the greater things that the greedy want, like big house, big cars. Like, no. I mean, I yes, is that stuff enjoyable? Sure, but there are other people. When other people in the world are suffering, that is when, until that ends, then you can go get your big house, big cars. It's just, there's no necessity of that. I'm fine with a condo. I live in a condo right now. I'm fine with that. No problem with that.
Even those people with that much money, they're miserable. The husband is living on one side of the house, wife is living on the other side of the house. They could barely see each other, and they live in a 10,000 square feet house. Yeah. They're in each other's throat. They're afraid if this person is die, or if they get a divorce, who's going to get this money. I mean, it's just that hypocrisy.
Yeah, I think on I don't know, a final note, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
I would say keep your family close, and praise Allah. Find your inner strength that will help motivate you to do this, because I didn't have any strength, and my prayers in the beginning were, Allah, I pray for your strength, courage, and spiritual guidance, because I want to be a better Muslim. I want to be a modest person. I want to have the good things of life, as it's said in the prayer. Prayers, blessings, and the good things of life belong to Allah, and that's what I wanted. And that's all I ever ask.
And one last thing, I just want to let you know, also, as far as your mom goes, don't ever give up on that. All this is obviously a learning process, as we were talking about. And in time, when you educate yourself and you're there and being an example of a good person, that automatically is gonna change their mind in every way, and they actually want to know what's going on. Don't ever forget, man. Living in America is rough, because we have our own way of that is the lifestyle. Anything, because they mostly have never been in any other country that they see. No, man, there are a lot of other countries that people actually, they worship, they pray 5 times a day. They believe in the Creator, because in this country we're so programmed to hypocrisy and craziness and having so many hot girls, and if you're not with a good-looking girl, you're a low life and this and that. That's a hypocrisy of way. Or if you're not after 4 o'clock and if you're not in a happy hour, or if you're not in a strip bar with your boys and stuff like that, you're just you don't fit in.
Yeah.
So the reality of it is that's way far from the reality. There's so many people around the world, and there are so many other countries that people are simply living a beautiful lifestyle. They have one woman that they live most of all their life with. They don't have to worry about literally changing women, just like they're changing their underwear, and having no respect whatsoever, and they just simply they're used to that type of. So, but don't forget that there's a lot of people like yourself that are converting. They're realizing that, and it's like I told you earlier. First when I came down here, I never thought it was going to get to this point, and now I'm seeing it firsthand, which I'm in shock. And doing an interview like this with a young 22-year-old kid, a young man, that who talks in that level. To me, that's a success, man.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't enjoy this, but an hour and some.
It went quick, didn't it?
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to talk to someone about it, and I definitely recommend that you talk to someone. Find a sponsor, almost.
Yeah. What we're gonna do, James, actually, is just a little while ago, you saw me talk to the other brother down there. So we're simply thinking about do the same thing that Sheikh Usman is doing. Farouk put together, a little, how would I say it? Go to different. How would I say, parks and stuff like that, and talk to people. We have a lot of people that are knowledgeable, not only in the Old and New Testament, but also in the Quranic Kareem, and just literally go down there, not necessarily to go down there and debate with people, but go down there to literally give dawah, and just talk about it. Now, if they want to debate, no problem, because all those guys, they know. We don't want to walk up to nobody and say, hey man, every other one of your pages, there's a contradiction going on. What's going on here? How can you believe in that? You know what I'm saying? So when you go in, one thing I love about the people of the United States above all is that, they have been brainwashed, but they are the type of people that once when they learn the truth, they don't care what you are, who you are, they're going to go against you for the truth. And that's what I love about people, and I see that happening slowly. It's just that us, we never, in no way, shape, or form, I would say that, I blame so and so, because they just don't know better. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Thank you so much. Here, let me just turn this camera real quick, and the kids are, playing soccer down here inside the masjid. May a blessing be upon all of you, wherever you're watching from. Thank you so much, James, man. That was awesome. I'm going to keep my eyes on you. I have your information. We're going to be doing a lot of different stuff. By the way, I just want to let you know that every fourth Sunday of every single month, we hold the converts luncheon down here. So don't forget about that. I will let you know, but in case if I forget, fourth Sunday of every month from 11 o'clock down here till about 12:30 or 1 o'clock, we all get together and we talk about religion with Sheikh Arjan and Albani together. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity. May Allah's peace and blessing be upon you, brother. You have a very, very bright future. You're very sharp and very smart, and it was really a privilege and honor to talk to you.
Thank you so much, and I hope the best for you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.